let's talk about meditation and give you a big picture context of how the different types of meditation work together. The first type of meditation you're already doing in earnest. That's called the focused attention family. Now, this focused attention family is training you to be able to monitor and modify where your attention is at a given time. And because you're learning to do that, the benefit of that is increasing the capacity for self-regulation. You can control yourself more when you're more aware of and able to control where your attention goes and what it fixates on, which makes perfect sense. The other aspect of the attentional family is that it helps a person cultivate awareness of that whole space. And so there's a local attention, there's a global awareness. This is part and parcel of the attentional family. You're working on that already with the breath counting, okay? So we're earnestly doing this practice right now. Now, the second meditation family, we've done one in this family. It's called the constructive family, and this is a very interesting family of meditations. You know that meditation where I had you guys sit and you did an analytical meditation and you asked yourself, what is stopping the change? That's in this constructive family. So what the constructive family is all about, it's about you constructing consciously feeling states inside of yourself that make you feel better. Have you guys heard of loving kindness meditation? That's in the constructive family. So what a person does when they do loving kindness meditation is they sit and they think about something they love dearly. Like if I do loving kindness meditation, the first person I bring into my mind is my daughter, because it's so easy for me to just feel so immediately connected to the sweetness of my daughter, that goodness, and I can feel how close I feel to her right now just telling you guys about it. When you get a whiff of that feeling, that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to cultivate and then nurture, keep it going, and amplify it. That's the practice. And you're going to read in the study guide how doing that meditation, you can go a long way to making yourself feel better by training the brain at the time that you're deciding to do that in your mind. Your brain circuits, the happiness circuits, are working overtime, and you're going to get the benefit of that. You're going to feel better. You're going to be happier and healthier. You're going to turn on those circuits that are going to produce the chemistry that makes you feel better. You're the pharmacy. So constructive meditation, but also constructive meditation like that analysis, the analytical meditation that we did, what's stopping the change, that's a perspectival meditation. That's you getting a perspective on yourself. It's you creating a reality, an object, in a sense, a story in your head to focus on, and you begin to positively influence the story. Your relationship to things, that's the perspectival. And then also, there's a values-oriented constructive practice where that prospective memory, where you're lying in bed, how'd I do today? You know, I could have done better with this. That's actually a meditation which is in the constructive family. And it's helping guide you towards more goodness in your life. Okay? And so you're doing these practices big time already. Next, and this is where we're going to go here, and this is where a lot of the juice of healing comes from. It's called the deconstructive family. And I don't want you to think that word deconstructive has a negative tinge. It means basically that you're taking a negative emotional something apart through analysis. And the deconstructive family is very much related to the attentional family in that you're holding your attention still on something, and you're staying aware. But what the deconstructive family does then is you begin to, in a sense, break apart the aspects of the reality that is making up the state. So for example, let's say I feel depressed and I want to do a deconstructive practice, and so I hold my attention, say, on my breath, and I open my awareness. Now, if my awareness is open and I'm holding my attention on my breath, am I going to feel feelings in my body that I'm aware of that feel like depression? Am I going to? Yes, right? Okay, clearly. But instead of saying, like giving the reality to the feelings, like this is depression, you ask the question, what is this? And you're asking it of the sensations that are flowing. What is this? But you don't answer. You let reality reveal itself. And the more you try to look for the depression, you won't actually find depression. You'll find flickering thoughts and sensations. And the closer you can get to the flicker, the parts that are making the whole, you start to, in a sense, deconstruct the pattern right inside of you. There's a Zen saying that says, great enlightenment comes from great confusion. The confusion is that you thought, I am depressed. This is a reality. And then once you go looking for it, you're like, I kind of get confused. When I really look for the darn thing, I can't find it. And the looking changes the feeling. It's really weird. We only have one nervous system, one brain. And so we hear that depression is a brain disease. In one sense, that's true if the cause were only in the brain. But the cause, you're learning, the cause of the experiences in our life, the things in our life, well, our life itself is a network. And so the cause of depression doesn't necessarily start and end in the brain. There is a brain, but there's also a mind. So that the energy and information, so there's a mind, there's a brain, there's a body, there's a family, there's a local environment that you live in, there's a job, there are bosses and employees and colleagues, there's context, there's things that are happening in the world, and all of it is energy and information, and all of it affects how you feel, and all of it will change your brain. And so to say that it's a brain disease, it's in the brain, even though that is partially true, it's not wholly true. The cause is distributed. And when you look at the whole network, if you just close your eyes and peer into it, you won't be perceiving a brain. You cannot perceive your own brain. For those of you at home that are looking at the computer screen or a page, whatever you're looking at, look at me and try to perceive the brain that's looking at me. Notice that you can't. Can you perceive your own brain as you can't? Notice that. And notice when you try to perceive your brain as you look at me, notice that everything just goes quiet. Isn't that weird? And so that's that confusion bit. You think you know. There's an I, there's a self that is depressed. You go looking for the self, you'll never find him or her. You'll find sights and sounds, thoughts and sensations, a lot of energy and information running through a network. You will find that. And if you can begin to work with that and allow yourself to be less fixated on solidness. So in the research, they call that cognitive reification. A couple of big words that just means when we have a habit of making something solid, I am this. Like if I literally believe Mark, I am depressed, and no matter what you say, no matter what I do, I'm still going to be depressed. If I felt that way, that's basically consigning myself to being depressed. Because what you're doing in that case is you're keeping yourself away from accessing more energy and particularly information that could open you up a little bit. You ever learn something that as soon as you learn it, you're like, oh, wow. Well, that whole aha moment, there are brain cells that fired and chemicals got released. But it happened in response to information. You saw something. It was a network effect. And then the brain did change. And so believe that you can change yourself. All right? So we're going to really go deep into the deconstructive practices, all of it. And so when you're doing this class and after this class, you're going to know how to, in a sense, play with your own nervous system, depending on the context. What works for you? What gives you the most bang for the buck? You're going to find out what works and understand how to work it. Then you can become, remember how I said you're going to become your own therapist? That's what I'm talking about. Okay, good. So those are the three families.